Imagine walking through a park. You notice a crow sitting on a telephone wire above you. You keep walking, but the crow doesn't fly away. It watches, and then something strange happens. Another crow appears, then another. Suddenly, several birds are staring directly at you. You might think it's random. It isn't. Crows can remember individual human faces, and sometimes they don't just remember the face. They remember what happened. A person who fed them may become familiar. A person who threatened them may become a warning. And that memory can influence how other crows behave. This is where crow intelligence becomes genuinely unsettling. Because we're not just talking about memory. We're talking about recognition, learning, and social information passed from one bird to another. So how does a brain smaller than a walnut create memories powerful enough to change future behavior? And what exactly are crows remembering about us? Chapter 1. The bird that remembers you. For centuries, humans have underestimated crows. They look ordinary. Black feathers, sharp beaks, simple movements. But beneath that appearance is one of the most sophisticated minds found in the bird world. Crows belong to the corvid family, which includes ravens, rooks, and jays. These birds are famous for problem-solving, tool use, planning, and impressive learning abilities. But one ability stands out: memory. A crow doesn't necessarily treat every human as identical. It can learn that one person is safe, while another person is dangerous. This is extremely useful in the wild. Imagine a crow living in a city. Every day, it encounters hundreds of humans. Most are irrelevant, but occasionally, one person throws something at it. Another tries to catch it. Someone else leaves food. For survival, the crow needs to separate these experiences. And that means remembering individuals. In other words, for a crow, your face can become information. Your behavior can become information. And eventually, you can become a category in its mental world. Chapter 2. The Mask Experiment. One of the most famous discoveries about crow memory came from experiments involving researchers wearing masks. Researchers captured and temporarily handled wild crows while wearing a particular mask. The birds didn't simply forget the experience after being released. Instead, they learned to associate that face with danger. Later, when researchers wearing the same threatening mask appeared, the crows reacted. They called. They gathered. They mobbed. The remarkable part wasn't just that the crows recognized the face. It was that the memory persisted. Weeks passed. Months passed. And in some research, the birds continued responding to the threatening appearance long after the original encounter. Think about what that means. A crow can experience something once, store information about it, and later use that information to make a decision. That's not simple instinct. It's learning from experience. And here's where the story gets even stranger. The crow doesn't necessarily have to experience the danger itself. It may learn from other crows. Chapter 3. Crow Society has a memory. Crows are highly social animals. They live around family members. They communicate constantly. They watch each other. And they pay attention when something unusual happens. Imagine one crow discovering that a particular human is dangerous. That crow begins calling loudly. Other crows hear the alarm. They look toward the source. They investigate. And now the experience of one bird may influence the behavior of others. This creates something fascinating. A social network of information. One crow learns. Other crows observe. Young birds may learn from older birds. And dangerous places, predators, or suspicious humans can become part of a group's collective knowledge. It's almost like a neighborhood warning system, except the neighbors have wings. And they can follow you across the sky. This doesn't mean crows are gossiping about humans in the same way people do, but their behavior demonstrates something powerful. Information can spread through a crow community, and that makes their memory more than an individual survival tool. It can become a social advantage. Chapter 4. The Dark Side of Memory. Memory isn't always positive. For humans, a painful experience can stay with us for years. For crows, negative experiences can also shape future behavior. A crow doesn't need to understand your intentions. It only needs to learn the pattern. Human appears. Danger follows. Remember the human. Avoid the human. This is incredibly useful. Because in nature, remembering danger can mean the difference between life and death. But there's an interesting psychological question here. Does a crow actually hold a grudge? Scientists are careful with that word. A grudge implies a complex emotional state that we can't simply prove from behavior. What we can observe is something more concrete. Crows can learn associations. They can recognize individuals. They can remember threatening experiences. And they can change their behavior later. So when a crow seems to stare at someone as if it remembers them, there may be a very real memory behind that behavior. The bird doesn't need revenge. It only needs information. And information is power. Chapter 5. Why the human face matters. Now consider how difficult human faces are to distinguish. To us, faces are incredibly important. But for a bird flying through a crowded city, hundreds of humans can look like moving shapes. So why would a crow spend valuable brain power learning one particular face? Because some faces matter. A person who provides food matters. A person who attacks matters. A person who approaches a nest matters. A person who repeatedly enters a territory matters. The crow's environment is full of unpredictable events. Memory helps turn that uncertainty into a prediction. And prediction is one of the most powerful tools any intelligent animal can have. The crow doesn't need to know what you'll do next. It only needs to remember what happened last time. That allows it to make a decision before the danger happens again. Stay, approach, watch, or fly away. A tiny brain is making a surprisingly sophisticated calculation. Chapter 6. The Memory of the City. This ability may help explain why crows have become so successful in human environments. Cities are unpredictable. Cars move. Buildings change. People appear and disappear. Food sources shift. Noise is everywhere. Yet crows have learned to navigate this artificial landscape. They watch. They experiment. They remember. And they adapt. A city may look like a place designed for humans. But to a crow, it's another ecosystem. The buildings are cliffs. Power lines are branches. Streetlights are observation towers. Garbage bins are food sources. And humans? Humans are unpredictable animals that need to be studied. Some are harmless. Some are useful. Some are dangerous. And a crow's memory helps it tell the difference. Chapter 7. What makes crow memory so special? The real mystery isn't simply that crows remember. Many animals have memory. The fascinating part is what crows appear capable of doing with that memory. They can connect experiences with individuals. They can modify future behavior. They can learn from social situations. And they can use information about their environment repeatedly. That's the foundation of intelligence. Not just storing information, but using it. A crow doesn't need a human-sized brain to be intelligent. Its brain evolved for the problems it actually faces. Finding food, avoiding predators, protecting territory, managing social relationships, remembering danger, and surviving in an increasingly human world. Perhaps we've been asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, why are crows so intelligent? Maybe we should ask, what kind of intelligence does a crow need to survive? And the answer may be, exactly the kind of intelligence that humans have spent centuries underestimating. Final, the bird watching back. The next time you see a crow watching you from a rooftop, don't assume it's just another bird. It may not know your name. It may not understand your world. But it can learn from experience. It can recognize patterns. And under the right circumstances, it can remember you. That's what makes crow intelligence so fascinating. Their greatest weapon isn't their beak. It isn't their wings. It isn't even their ability to solve problems. It's information. They observe. They remember. They adapt. And they use the past to predict the future. So maybe the most unsettling thought isn't that crows remember human faces. It's this. What if, somewhere above the city, a crow remembers yours? If you enjoyed this exploration into the hidden psychology of crows, subscribe to Wild Psychology. Because in the animal world,